Hi, I'm Steve Erickson from MidlifeSolopreneur.com.
And I'm Jake Erickson from FlowCampaigns.com. And this is our daily debrief. In this short form podcast, we share what we've been working on for the day, as well as some tips and strategies that you can implement in your business. So what day is it today?
Today is the 6th of August and it's day 11 of the podcast.
That's right. And tell me about today. What have you been working on?
Well, today I've been working on some of the technology that goes into delivering a virtual summit. As we mentioned before, we're doing a summit called the Solopreneur Accelerator Summit on the 31st of August, 1st of September and 2nd of September. And having your technology sorted for that is quite important. So I've been looking at solutions such as Hey Summit, webinar software called Big Marker, or should we be using Zoom, which a lot of other people are using. I personally don't like Zoom for webinars because you only have the webinar speaker and the presentation screen and you lose some of the personal interaction there. I like to see more people on the call.
Yeah.
And all of this has to basically fit together. It's all got to work together. You're going to get your people in the summit into your mailing manager. You're going to be able to send out update emails. You're going to have your checkout for the VIP type of upgrade. You know, there's a lot of moving parts that you have to get right. And if any of these parts actually break, then you have a challenge. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think what you mentioned about, using Zoom versus not using Zoom, I think is a good example of, the trade-off between simplicity and power in a software. So Zoom, at this point, everyone's familiar with Zoom, everyone's used it. And it's fairly straightforward to get what you need, but not necessarily get the full functionality that would be useful for a summit. So that's why we're looking at Big Marker and seeing what can be done there, because in our eyes, it's more powerful than Zoom and gives us the kind of functionality that we're looking for there.
Absolutely. One of the great things about Big Marker is that it gives you Q&A kind of facilities, chat facilities, just like Zoom does, but in a much better format and allows you to flag them whether you have answered them or not, for instance, in there. And there is a number of other facilities. It's much easier to play videos, it's much easier to play PowerPoint presentations, etc.
You can share handouts, I believe, in there as well. So
you can make them downloadable for people very, very easily. So there's a lot of good features with Big Marker. And then the maintenance of the attendees and the summit speakers and everything. Jake has just been making a summit page for somebody else, and we did that the manual way. We went using Hey Summit, for instance. And there was an awful lot of work involved when you started moving speakers around. Or just inserting it. We were doing it alphabetically rather than by speaking order. And then when somebody came, it's going to go at the top. There was a lot of copy and pasting going on. And using specialized software like Hey Summit, for instance, what takes away a lot of that overhead of the management. So, So that's the main thing I worked on. And very interesting development also for my live summit. I was a part of a webinar earlier today, an hour-long webinar, when it was all about running virtual summits with somebody who was explaining their product offering is exactly how you run the summits. I was very interested in hearing what they got to say. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the webinar, I won a draw. We're actually 30 odd people on here, and I was the one who won it. And I won half an hour of live music for a cocktail hour for my webinar. So big news today is that looks like we're going to have a cocktail hour. We're going to have live music playing at the summit. So that is wonderful.
Yeah, very nice. Looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
I'm interested to see how that works, but...
Yeah. I've been part of webinars before where we're doing live music, and it's quite an interesting experience to see the DJ rocking it up with all the psychedelic music, and people in the small screens are all dancing along. So
very interesting. Yeah, hopefully bring some good energy to the summit then, and
absolutely
something different for people. I think that'd be great. So what I've been working on today is actually preparing some of the landing pages for the summit, for the Solopreneur Accelerator Summit. So these are not live yet. We're still working on some of the copy that's going onto the pages, as well as editing some of the video that will be displayed on the landing page. However, the overall structure and the design is being created now. So we're hoping to be able to go live with that page in a couple of days and actually start registering people for the summit.
Yeah.
Even if we don't have the full functionality set up yet, we have, Active Campaign, which is set up and running. We're able to take people in and we can at least register interest.
Absolutely.
So working on that. The other thing that I've been working on is Jenny has the niftynetworker.com, which is launching soon. Again, also in a couple of weeks, around actually the same time as the summit.
Yeah,
so we
1st
have
of September.
quite a lot of things going on at the same
Yes.
time. And I've actually been helping write some of the copy and designing the website for that as well. And that actually ties into my tip for today is there are things that you're able to do that you're not going to be able to do perfectly. So as an example, me writing the copy for the Nifty Networker website, I'm not going to be in the Nifty Networker meetings. It's not my business. It's something I'm helping out with. Yeah. But at the same time, I can really, get close to 70, 80, 90% of the content that needs to be on the site. And if I just just to sit down and take a good effort at it, I'll be able to get a lot of the way there. And so that my tip really is, if you're able to, just start something rather than trying to perfect it before you begin. By being able to actually help with this, I'm able to save hours on Jenny's part by just having something that then she can refine rather than building up from scratch. And obviously, she's out going to meetings, promoting the Nifty Networker, building connections, getting interest for the site. So at the same time, if I can help, take some of that content creation off her plate, that's a big time saver overall.
Absolutely.
And I can get a lot of the way there just from knowing about the business and being able to write something down on paper.
Absolutely. And I would like to add one thing here. Remember one thing: we are solopreneurs. I'm a solopreneur. Jake is a solopreneur, and Jenny is a solopreneur. It means being a solopreneur means that we want to be in business but not have any staff. We don't have any employees. We're on our own. However, even if you are a solopreneur and you're on your own, it doesn't mean that you have to do things on your own. You can still get other people involved. You can still use other people to get your thing delivered. And that's a very important message. You do not have to do everything on your own. Get help from others when you're feeling overwhelmed. Get help from others when you have too much on your plate to get it done within the time you need to do it. That's really an important message. And it's a big part really of what I talk about and what I teach as a midlife solopreneur is that you might be a solopreneur, but you really are not on your own. So, yeah.
And I think to that point as well, it's worth doing an assessment of, firstly, what you think you're good at and what you also like to do. So going back to the copy example, maybe writing copy for your website is not your strength. Maybe your strength is actually interacting with clients, in which case you should really look at outsourcing that writing aspect. Yeah. You could spend hours and hours and have lots of stress and anxiety around writing this. But you could find someone who specializes in writing who'll be able to do it much quicker and probably much cheaper than you're able to. Yeah. And that allows you to free up time to focus on the thing that you are really good at and passionate about, which is those client meetings. So it's really worth doing an assessment for, what you're good at, what you like, focusing on those and outsourcing the rest.
Absolutely.
When you have the budget to, of course.
Yes. All right. I think that's a wrap for today.
Yep.
And look forward to speaking to you tomorrow.
Yep. Sounds good. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye.